Today, I will like to share with you my thoughts and reflections, or you can say my journey on the point, namely enthusiasm. When I was listening to Baba's Murli this morning, Baba said that we have to attain Ek Ras Avastha, the constant and stable stage. It's very difficult to translate in English Ek Ras Avastha. If I translate it as constant stage, I think it does not adequately represent what is actually meant in the Hindi term. If I say the stable stage, that also would not perhaps be doing justice to the term, because it's very dynamic stage. It's not static. It is stable, no doubt, but in a different sense. And it also means a homogeneous stage. There is some kind of a uniformity in that stage, because there aren't any divergent elements in that spiritual or mental stage. So it's a stable stage, it's a homogeneous stage, it's a constant stage. And that is what Baba calls as Ek Ras Avastha. That is what we have to attain, which is without any bumps, without any unevenness. It is a stage where you don't have jerks, you don't have ups and downs. There is equipoise and stability. And Baba says, when you attain that stage, that is a sign that you are near your karmatit stage, your final stage. That is the sign of your yoga attaining its perfection, which means your spiritual endeavor is now coming to its culmination. So, if that is the stage which we have to attain, what we are supposed to do? Baba says before that stage is attained, you have to have the angelic stage. In your present life, before you attain that final stage of perfection, wherein your mind will be completely in a state of equanimity, you will have first to attain your angelic stage. Now, is it that in our angelic stage there will be ups and downs? There will be some speed breakers and some bumps? I don't think so. But still, there is some kind of a shade of difference between the angelic stage and that final stage, namely the karmatit stage. And before attaining that angelic stage, Baba says what is first of all required of you is to become a Brahmin. And for attaining all these, Baba says a race is going on. You are all number wise in that race. Now, what is it that determines our number? How is it that some are in the forefronts in that race, where are others which are at the tail end and others in between? What is it which, as an important factor, determines our various stages? There could be many factors, and one of these, I think, is enthusiasm. It's very important, enthusiasm. Baba has been mentioning of this quality, this personality trait, or this very essential element of our spiritual efforts, number of times in many murlis. Sometimes he would say, give up your slackness and slovenliness and carelessness. And very often he says that you must have happiness all the time, constant state of happiness. And all the days are the days of festivity. Every day is a festival to you, is a holiday, holiday and holiday. That should be the spirit in which you must have exuberance in that state. So, actually, it is a sign of yoga, it is a sign of spiritual health. If a person doesn't have enthusiasm, there is something wrong with his spiritual health. He is spiritually ill, spiritually sick. So, in order that we may have this stage which is very essential for receiving our final stage. We must first of all know how dangerous, how harmful, how negative it is. Because when you know the harms a thing causes you, you try to get freedom from it. Yourself make efforts to be liberated from it. So first of all, I have tried to see as to what are the harms, the negative aspects of this, the absence of enthusiasm or the lack of it. Now, in our day-to-day spiritual life, first of all, everything becomes a burden when we don't have enthusiasm. Getting up early in the morning, Amrit Vela, going to the class, being regular to our studies, all these spiritual efforts appear to us to be a burden if we don't have enthusiasm. It happens even our Lokik life. If a person doesn't have enthusiasm, all the work appears to him or her a burden, not a pleasure but a pressure. So if you have enthusiasm, even great tasks would appear to you to be minor. Baba says, if you don't have enthusiasm, it would appear to you like a hill, like a mountain in your way, though actually it is a molehill, not a hill. Now the difference is all because of your spirit, because of your enthusiasm or the lack of it. So everything would appear to you to be a burden. I can't get up early in the morning because I go to bed late in night. I feel tired after my hard office work, so on and so forth. There will be so many excuses. But when you have enthusiasm, that very amount of work appears to you to be a very light kind of work. You don't feel it's a burden on you. It's not tiresome. It's not wearisome. You feel very light about it. So that is one of the things. If you want to achieve great heights, if you want to make great strides, if you want to reach early your goal, then the very first requisite in this spiritual effort is enthusiasm. Without that, even a small effort would appear to you to be a burden. It would be heavy on your mind. And then the result of it would be that either you would leave things unfinished, half undone, and half done. Very often it so happens when a person loses the spirit, loses the enthusiasm, gives up the work. Oh, I don't feel like doing it. I don't like it. There may be so many ways of saying it, but one, when feels that there is no enthusiasm, one leaves the work unfinished. So how can we attain our stage of perfection if that is our state of our mind? Or if we finish it, we won't attain that quality. The excellence would not be there. The more the enthusiasm, the more the excellence. Take the case of 36 qualities which we are supposed to attain in our life. The values, you may call them, the divine virtues, you may like to call them, tolerance, patience, contentment, humility, all these qualities. Not only we have to have these qualities, but we have to have a high degree of these qualities. These qualities also must be at its peak, at its greatest height. Not only we have to be tolerant, but we should be excellent in our toleration. We must attain the highest degree of it. So if we have to attain the excellence in all these qualities, in all these personality traits, the divine qualities, how can we have them unless and until we have excellence? This enthusiasm. If our enthusiasm doesn't last, then our qualities also do not last. The height of attainment of our qualities depends upon the height of our enthusiasm. It's directly proportionate to that, you will feel. Others will lose the spirit and they feel broken-hearted and they give up the effort. They say, we can't do it. In any race, in any worldly effort also, you will find that those who can maintain and sustain their enthusiasm at a high pitch, high level, it's only they who can be very successful in their efforts. So also is here. Or it takes much longer. If you don't, your speed depends upon your enthusiasm. Baba says, last so fast. How will last become fast? The time is the same. We all have been given 24 hours. The day, duration of the day is the same. And we all have the human abilities, almost the same, with a little bit difference. But this enthusiasm is a factor which makes a great difference between one person and another person. One person came only 2 years ago and he is now ahead of a person who has been 10 years in knowledge. It is because this person has enthusiasm, more enthusiasm than the other person has. So if you can squeeze your efforts within a limited time and want to attain much more than another can within the same period, what is required is enthusiasm. It is what can give you a more speed in your spiritual efforts. If you don't have enthusiasm or you have lack of enthusiasm, then you take much time to attain what other has attained because of the enthusiasm in a smaller or a shorter period. And if our enthusiasm is not constant, our stability also cannot be constant. Our stage cannot be constant. As I said, Baba asks us to have ek ras avastha, stable and homogeneous state, constant state of constancy. That is possible if our enthusiasm, its graph does not sometimes become high, sometimes low. If there are jerks and bumps in our enthusiasm, so will be reflected in our stage. If our enthusiasm is constant, then only you can expect a constant state. So we have to be very mindful of our enthusiasm. And this depends upon the whole structure of our spiritual effort. And we will lose the race and also in the result lose the face. When a person loses the race, a person also loses the face. Those people who have to face failures in life, it is because they had failed in terms of enthusiasm. When they first of all failed in enthusiasm, it was thereafter that they had to face the failures. And therefore, they lost the race and also the face. If we don't want to lose the race and also the face, we must have enthusiasm. Then I would like to say that lack of enthusiasm is slow spiritual death. It is slow spiritual death. A person who is dying, he or she does not have enthusiasm, can't even get out of the bed. If you ask that person to do something, the person will say, I am dying and you are asking me to do this thing, how can I do? I am weak, I can't do. I have no stamina, no energy. This is the sign that a person is nearing its end. And so is the sign of lack of enthusiasm, is the sign of slow spiritual death. Baba has asked us to take this new birth and to be awakened. It is like a sleep overtaking us. A person who is being overpowered or overtaken by sleep, that person is not expected to do anything because the slackness or the slovenliness, the idleness, the drowsiness has overtaken that person. Similar is the case with the person who has lack of enthusiasm. His spirit is in the grip of that slow sleep, death, or whatever you may call it. Or you can compare it to slow poisoning, like a person who takes opium. Karl Marx said religion is the opium of the people. I would say lack of enthusiasm is the opium of the BKs. If any person says, I don't take opium, I don't take any drugs, but he takes lack of enthusiasm, I think he is also taking drugs, you see, so to say. Because it has that kind of effect as an opium has. So avoid this, considering it as a drug which you must give up. And they say when a person grows old, the memory begins to fade because all the brain cells and other cells, they lose their energy, their resistance power. Those signs of youth are gone. And such like signs appear, which show that this person has now become old. The aging process has started. And even if a person is physically young, and in Gyan also if a person is young, but has lack of enthusiasm, I would say the aging process has started. It's like this person has become old. You know this term old, even if a person is 2 years child, they say he is 2 years old. Even if that person is not old. A 2 year person is not old. But in English we generally say he is 2 years old. But in this case, if a person lacks enthusiasm, I would say he is in real term of the word he is old. Because that person has lost the stamina, the energy, the youth, the zest for work, the earnestness. And this is the sign of a karma yogi. This is the sign of yoga. Any person who is yogi, he would be well awake. Whatever he would do with excellence. He would put heart and soul into it. And he would achieve better results than any other person would do. A yogi does not mean a person who is just tottering, must be able to stand on his legs and do whatever he wants to do. He has decided to do. So it's like a sign of old age, aging, or drowsiness. I would say it is spiritual fatigue. People nowadays talk of getting some syrups or some kind of medicine or something which gives them stamina, energy, some vitality, vitamins and so on. This is what enthusiasm is. And lack of enthusiasm is like spiritual fatigue, like loss of energy. Some people generally feel pain in the body. They may have a disease whereby they think that they are tired, even if they haven't worked. After getting out of the bed in the morning, they have not yet started doing any work, and before they have done anything, they feel tired. They are yawning. They feel that they don't have energy. It is, I think, lack of enthusiasm is something similar to that. A person is spiritually ill, and this illness is like a person's body aching, or aching at the joints, or the whole body is feeling some kind of pain, tiredness. And I think, like some people say that certain people have suicidal tendencies. Some people have the death wish or the suicidal tendencies. And I think lack of enthusiasm in spiritual efforts, in spiritual context, is like a suicidal attempt, spiritual suicide. Because enthusiasm takes us to greater heights, gives us zest, gives us the real spiritual life full of energy. And lack of enthusiasm is like doing violence to ourselves. Baba says, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. You must not do hinsa or violence to anyone, including yourself. Atmahatya, Atmaghat, Mahapap, Baba says. And this is Atmaghat, killing our own selves. Don't take it non-seriously, because I tell you honestly, I have seen so many people, you find for a number of years, they are making good efforts, they are very happy, doing lot of service and making good progress, and suddenly you find that they have left the institution, there are no more BKs, and if you just go deeper into the causes, you will find that the main cause was lack of enthusiasm. But this lack of enthusiasm had underneath it so many other grave problems. Lack of enthusiasm apparently is only one cause, but it is a combination of factors, which I will come to later. It's so dangerous, I tell you. So therefore I say it's like doing violence to our spiritual life, or a death wish, or a kind of a suicide, spiritual suicide. It is so serious. Now, we generally say that our consciousness or our soul, our self, we say that soul has got mind, intellect, memory, emotions, so many things. These are the signs of consciousness. These are the manifestations of consciousness. When we say that soul is a conscient entity, what we mean is that it can think, it can judge, it can feel, and it can remember. It has all these faculties, all these abilities. It has will. And you will find, when I said it is suicidal, I will tell you how this lack of enthusiasm kills all these. Our mind, our intellect, our emotions, our memory. It causes injury or harm to all these. Now the first thing happens is, when a person has lack of enthusiasm, his will weakens. I don't want to do any work because I have no enthusiasm. I'm not no more interested. I don't want to do. Whatever may be the reason. But the main cause is lack of enthusiasm. So the very first casualty is my mind, my will. My will weakens. I lose my will. And they say, where there is will, there is way. If you lose the way, you lose the will, you lose the way. And if your will weakens, somebody asked Mama, which is the greatest divine quality of all the 36? She said, strong will. Unless and until you have a strong will, you can achieve nothing. You can't have tolerance, contentment and all the other qualities because they require a lot of efforts. You have to put in hard efforts. Only then you are able to get all these qualities stay in you. And if you don't have the strong will, you will give up those efforts. So the very basic quality is that you must have a strong will to do. If you are not interested in doing, you don't will to do. They say you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So Baba can give you the hints how you can have the divine qualities. But if you have no will, Baba can't push the divine quality down your throat. It can't be done because you have to have the will to have them. You see, it should go down the horse's mouth. Otherwise, the horse must ingest it. Otherwise, it can't happen. Same is the case with this. The very first thing what happens is that you lose the will. Your will weakens. And when your will weakens, your efforts weaken. Slackness, slovenliness, idleness, these overtake you. And the result is your whole spiritual strength is lost in the meantime. And you lose your will, you weaken your will, you see that your will is becoming weak and that you have lost your will because you have lost your enthusiasm. You know it, but still you do it. It means you have lost the judgment. Isn't it? If your judgment were correct, you would stop. You would apply a brake to it. What's happening to me? I have lost my will and I'm not doing any efforts. How will I attain my goal? You know you will not be able to do it, but still you are not able to prevent it from happening. So that means your judgment is also lost, killed. It is not effective. It is not operative. It is not functioning. So what use is your judgment? If you see your house on fire and you don't call the fire brigade, then there is something wrong with this. What you are doing? You know you are losing your whole thing. The game is being lost and still you are not able to take any action. Where is your judgment? It is silliness, not judgment. So your judgment is also lost. The first casualty was the will. You lost your mind. People would ask you to make spiritual efforts. They would say, why don't you come to the morning class nowadays? You would say, I am not interested. The real reason being that you have lost your enthusiasm, so you have lost your will, and therefore you have lost your way. And why you are not, you have lost your mind, and therefore you say you don't mind, and therefore you have lost your mind. And then you have lost your intellect because you don't judge. You are harming your own self, not anybody else. So the intellect is lost. The next guard post has also been conquered by the enemy. You lose it. You are receding behind. And very often these people say, I understand. And that is the difficulty because they don't understand, you see. If a person doesn't understand, you can make him understand. But if a person doesn't understand and still he says, yes, I understand, then your task is more difficult. And it is usually, this is the case with such people. They say, yes, we understand, and still they don't understand. They have lost the intelligence and the judgment. And then they have lost also the memory. Baba says, children always be happy and holy. They forget Baba's teachings. Isn't it a loss of memory? Or if their memory is there, don't they put it aside? Is it not their inhibition power working? They are crushing the memory, suppressing the memory. They know what harm is being done. Things come up in their mind, but they put them down with a heavy hand. So there is the loss of memory. The memory has weakened. There is the knowledge in them. They remember Baba's points, Baba says, your this life is holy, this is the diamond like life, this is Sangam Yug, this is the last phase of your life. You will become Narayana from an ordinary human being, so on and so forth. If you just make small efforts, children, I have come to guide you, so on and so forth. All these points are there. But that person, that memory is so weak, it is not able to overpower that weakness. So the memory is also lost. And then the regard and love for Baba also is lost. Baba says, my sweet children, my beloved children, I have come to take you back home. Just make a little effort. I don't ask you to do anything else but just to be holy and yogi. This small effort you have to make, all this. And they have lost love and regard for Baba. And what does the loss of love mean? The loss of nobler emotions. So your emotions also have become weak. Your love bond for Baba has become weak. If you love Baba, the versions of Baba, the sayings of Baba would very much come up in your memory. If they come up in your memory very strongly, your judgment will work. And if your judgment works, your mind will not become weak. Your will not become weak. But now all these things are happening. So that means it is a death of the soul. Death of the body is different. One could have another. But this one is the last chance for us, and we are losing this chance. And Baba says, children, take the chance and become a chancellor. I would say, take the chance and you will become the vice chancellor. With my apologies to Baba, I would like to make a little bit of change in this, Take the chance and become a vice chancellor, and give the chance and become a chancellor. Because some people take the chance only for themselves, they don't give chance to others. So in order to make room for it, I would like to say, take the chance and become a vice chancellor, and give the chance and become a chancellor. But this person is neither taking the chance nor giving the chance, losing both, becoming neither vice chancellor nor viceless chancellor. And lack of enthusiasm is also loss of creativity. Because when there is enthusiasm, then only you are creative. You want to do something, to create something. You have creative ideas. You have innovativeness. You are intuitive. You want to do something, to achieve something. But this lack of enthusiasm is lack of creativity. And now when Baba is creator, creating the new world, and when we are also participant in that effort to create the new world, there could be no task greater than this, no chance better than this, no role higher than this. To create a golden aged world is a wonderful thing. That is the best of things a human being can do ever in his life, throughout the cycle of lives. And this kind of creativity, if we lose everything. Everything is lost. So, such a dangerous thing, lack of enthusiasm, is that we lose creativity. And this lack of enthusiasm is like opening floodgates to idleness. Baba says, when we sometimes mention these 6 evils or 6 enemies of man or of soul or of spiritual effort, we say first of all sex lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and sloth or idleness. But Baba said sometimes this idleness or laziness is the first. When this comes, the other 6 come. This is the opening the gate to the other 5. It is not 6th. Sometimes it is the first, laziness. You don't go to the class because you feel lazy. You don't wake up in the Amrit Vela because you feel lazy. So all these come because you become spiritually weak, and you become spiritually weak only because of laziness. So this sometimes takes the first place out of all these 6. And I therefore say, when you lose your enthusiasm, you open the floodgates to all these. These slowly begin to come to your enemies. And then what happens is, if one person in the whole lot in the whole group has lost enthusiasm, it draws the attention of others also towards itself. Why this person seems without any enthusiasm, without any happiness? Then this person becomes out of step with others. The rhythm is lost. We are a team. We have to attain a task all together. We have a sense of unity. It's a BK family. Like if there is a person who is sick in the family, the attention of everyone is drawn to the sick person in the family. So happens when a person has lost the enthusiasm, which means you are drawing the attention of others. The whole team is losing its rhythm, its united effort, and therefore it is not that you yourself are becoming weak, but you are causing some kind of a harm to the whole group, to the whole family. So that sort of thing. Like they say, a smoker not only gets cancer, but gives cancer to the passive smokers, others who don't smoke. Similarly, this person is not only being out of step himself, but the whole rhythm is being lost, disturbed. And the most important thing is that what we are trying is that all our potentialities should flower. Our spiritual effort is, because they say man has so many qualities, but many of these are lying dormant. They have not been expressed. They did not find any chance to flower up, to find a feeling of, to find growth. Now, our spiritual efforts take us to the flowering or to the growth of all our hidden potentialities or abilities. And if there is lack of enthusiasm, our whole potentiality will not flower. This is the only chance when we have to have the royal personality, as Baba says, the integrated personality, as the psychologists say, the perfection in our growth. And that perfection in our growth would not be attained. Our growth would be hampered if we have no enthusiasm, if we lose it. And that is the greatest loss, because this is the only opportunity. When we say a person becomes Narayana or a deity from ordinary person, it means the flowering of the human potential. Every human being has special qualities. Those qualities grow when we attain this godly knowledge, when we practice meditation, when we pay attention to these values, and when we involve ourselves into the spiritual service of humankind, then all these qualities in us which are lying dormant or not fully grown, they find an opportunity to grow. And if we just kill that opportunity, don't make use of that opportunity because of our lack of interest, which is because of lack of enthusiasm, then we are hampering our growth. So that is a very huge loss. Now, the question is, why there is lack of enthusiasm? We find that everyone, almost everyone, is affected to some degree by lack of enthusiasm, today or tomorrow. In one's spiritual life, there come some occasions when one does not have the same enthusiasm, same high spirit, same level of spirit as one had on certain other days. Why does it happen? If you just try to find the factors which result in our lack of enthusiasm, I have mentioned some of them. Sometimes when we ask some persons why they are not as happy as they were some time ago, they would say that we are being neglected in this family. When we came to this, people loved us. They showed concern for us. And we had a feeling of being in the family. And now we feel that that is less and less as the time passes. And they would say that they also made the efforts as somebody else did. They also did this task as someone else did. But they were not given their due credit for that. Somebody else was praised on the stage, oh, this person has done this service, and we also did it, but nobody mentioned that we also did it. This may be one form of neglect. So some people say that they have lack of enthusiasm because they don't find that their role is being appreciated and that they are now being neglected. Other people are getting more attention. They are now not getting as much attention. There may be one way of saying or the other way, but it is the same, that they are not getting attention, they are not being appreciated, or they are being neglected, they are being overlooked, they are being sidetracked, whatever you may say. They are not given their roles to play. Now, I think if that is the cause, let us check up, each one of us. Why is not our enthusiasm full-fledged, 16 degrees enthusiasm? Why it is 14 degrees or 10 degrees or 12 degrees? It should be full-fledged enthusiasm. If this is the factor someday, now actually what is the underlying factor which is being neglected, which is invisible? You would find it is our desire for praise, for name and fame. Actually, we are blaming others. They are neglecting us. They are not appreciating our role. They are not paying attention to us. They are not making use of our service. They are not giving us a role. We are complaining. But the actual fact is, we desire, desire name and fame. We desire praise. And Baba says, no desires. Ichha matram avidya. No desires. And especially for name and fame. In many Murlis, Baba has said, this is one of the reasons which takes you away from Baba. You have to glorify Baba rather than to glorify yourself. You think that people should begin to glorify you on the stage. Instead of glorifying Baba, they should spend all their time, and they have publicized so much that this program is going to be held about yoga. And instead of talking to people about yoga and God and soul and so on, they should talk about you, what you did. Isn't it that we are thinking wrongly and we are blaming others? See? So we should analyze why we have lost our enthusiasm. And anyone who says that it is because someone is neglecting, overlooking, or paying less attention, giving less love, so on, actually should realize that it is my desire for name and fame. Why should I want to draw attention of people towards me? I should try to draw their attention to Shiv Baba. What is yoga? What do you do when you practice yoga? You have your attention towards God. The climax, the maximum attention on one. Baba says, remember only one. What is yoga? Yoga is the heightening of your attention on Shiv Baba. So instead of having the heightened attention on Shiv Baba and asking them to pay attention to none but one, you are asking them that not one but me also. You want to include this. We say God is one. You say no, but there is another God, namely me. God is not only one. So actually it is a wrong desire on my part. See? So I should know that this desire is dangerous. Then, secondly, I should think, if they are neglecting me, not giving me love, not paying attention to me, if I feel that I am feeling hurt, because you think that you have an identity, you exist, and somebody is overlooking you as if you don't exist. You see? You are very much in the family and you are not being counted. That is what, when a person feels hurt, this is how a person talks. You see? I came into this family, nobody asked me for a glass of water, as if I was unwelcome. Nobody took notice of me. So I have lost enthusiasm, no more I like to come. Maybe any reason. Now, maybe any kind of this kind of factor. So I should think, Baba has selected me. If they don't pay attention to me, out of millions of people, Baba draw me, towards himself. Is it something less? Now, should I think, there are two factors. One saying glass is half empty, the other saying glass is half full. Both saying the same thing, correct? But one is the negative attitude, the other is the positive attitude, isn't it? Now, if this person is neglecting me, but God is selecting me, so which one is better? Which one I should think as a yogi? God has selected me or this person has neglected me? You see, what should I think about? If I think God has selected me, I become happy. If I think this person has rejected me, I become like this. So what do I actually want to become? What kind of photograph I want of myself? Like this or like this? Not that this person has rejected me, but God has selected me. Let me think like this. And if they neglect me and think I have nothing, but Baba says you are my special child. Baba finds some speciality in me. Baba says everyone who has come here has some kind of a speciality, and you are my special child. Try to recognize your speciality and try to put it use into the service of mankind. So instead of doing that, I am noticing the negative things, wasting my time, money and energy. So this is something wrong. So if somebody has not given me this kind of attention, I should pay my attention to myself at least. I am not paying attention to my speciality. Look within, Baba said. Antarmukhi bano. Become introvert, not extrovert. Why you are paying attention to what this person is not doing instead of paying attention to what you are expected to do? You see, you have to pay attention to what you have to do rather than to pay attention to what this person is missing, not doing. Nobody asks you to take care of others, what they are not doing. You must do what you are to do. If they don't appreciate, at least you should not depreciate. You see, I am depreciating myself. If this person is not appreciating, doesn't matter. Maybe there are certain people who don't appreciate a person who is giving some music from the stage. This person's right side of the brain is not as much developed, can't appreciate the music. Maybe the cells of the right side brain are dead of this person. So if this person is not appreciating, it is the fault of that person. But if I have some aesthetic sense, some fifth sense, I can appreciate this. Now I should appreciate my own qualities. Why should I depreciate myself? There is only negative thinking on my part which is taking me away from my enthusiasm. Now, this is one factor which I discussed. Another factor is sometimes it so happens that you do some work. You take some assignment. You want to play a role. You want to achieve something. You fix up a task for you and set your mind to it. But you don't attain the success. So you lose enthusiasm. You say, I am an unlucky person. I tried my hand at this, I was not successful. Then I tried this other one, I was not successful. I have tried number of things, but I fail everywhere. I am a failure in life. I am not success. I can't attain success. So you lose the spirit, you lose the enthusiasm. You become a sorrowful person. You think that you are not attaining success. That may be the reason. Repeated failures come in your way, and it is they which are responsible for loss of enthusiasm. Now, why it happens? Baba has given so many reasons. Baba says, Nishchay Atma Vijayati. If you have full faith in Baba, you will be victorious. You will win. Baba also says, those who love Baba, they require less efforts and they have more success. मोहब्बत वाले को मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती. These are the versions of Baba. Those who have very deep love for Baba, they require less efforts and they get more success. Baba has been saying. So maybe that your love for Baba is less. Because Baba, who is the truth personified, says, children, if you have really deep love for Baba, you will attain success. So if success is eluding you, you are not able to attain success, maybe that your love for Baba is not perfect. Your mind is attached to some human beings, some embodied persons. You are drawn to some worldly players. You are perhaps not the ruler over your sense organs. Baba has said, children, success is your birthright. God fatherly birth. All the people pray to God for success. Those who are believers in God, they always pray to Him, O God, give us success. You are almighty, let our way be clear. please help us, guide us, and so on. And we have now taken this spiritual birth. We are spiritually born to Him, and we say we are children of God. And Baba says, children, success is your godfatherly birthright. So how is it that we don't have success? Maybe that there is something wrong with us. Baba has given us some principles to follow. You must observe celibacy. You must take sattvic diet. You must get up at Amrit Vela. These are the signs of someone who is the child of God. And if I am observing all these principles, celibacy has so much power. It can move the whole globe. If it is celibacy in real terms, it's not a small thing. It's a great spiritual energy. Then Baba says, have good wishes for all. There is no one who is your enemy. If I love everyone, if I have good wishes for everyone, I have hatred for no one, jealousy for no one. All are my friends. So on and so forth. Baba has given us some principles of this BK life, Brahmin life. If I am following those principles, then only I can say I am child of God. And then, if that is so, how can it be that I can't attain success? Because Baba said success is your birthright. So try to be introvert and try to examine where is the flaw in your life. There must be something wrong with you. You have violated some principle, broken some spiritual norm which you are supposed to observe. Otherwise, every person goes to a holy person and says, please bless me. I may attain success in my examination, so on and so forth. Not only about God, but even the holy people they approach for being blessed, for blessing them. If I am really a holy child of God, how is it possible that I don't attain success? If I have the full faith that success is my birthright, how can it be that I don't attain success? I will certainly attain success. Nothing can stand in my way because Baba is with me. Baba told me, child, dear child, success is your birthright. It can't be wrong. It must happen. So either my faith is weak, or my love for Baba is weak, or I am not really an obedient and faithful child of Baba, so that success is evading me. So instead of feeling disheartened and losing my enthusiasm, I should try to check up and try to see what is wrong and set it right, rather than give up the effort and feel that I have no enthusiasm anymore. That is the wrong way of thinking. Or if I find that I am observing Baba's principles, I am truly a child of God, nothing is spiritually wrong with me, then maybe that Baba wants me to be a Maharathi, to be a hard task master, to be a troubleshooter. He wants me to attain great heights. Therefore, he has assigned me such hard tasks. Perhaps anyone else could not do it. Therefore, I have been called upon to do this. So you should feel it a privilege and honor that you will be doing this great task which others feel defeated not to do. I take this challenge. Feel it that way rather than feel disheartened and give up the effort and lose enthusiasm. Think that you will have a very strong will. You must do it. How can it be it can't happen? It will certainly happen. You must have that kind of strong will, a will of granite rather than of breakable glass. You see, they say handle with care, not that kind of will. So you should think that Baba wants you to destroy obstacles, to become destroyer of obstacles, Vigna Vinashak, as Baba has been saying. And what is life if we don't have any hurdles and obstacles in our way? If we don't find any occasion to make use of our talents and abilities, of our valor and courage, of our bravery and our feeling hard, doing hard tasks, if we have everything running smooth, then what is this life? Unless and until there is an adventure in this. So take it that way, that it is a task, it's a kind of a game you must play. Hard tasks, why you are afraid of them? Why you have this fear and a negative thinking? Or you may think that in order that your power of endurance, tolerance, perseverance may increase. Therefore is this obstacle. You know, when people play the hurdle race, or they do the high jump or the long jump, first of all they place it at 3 feet, you have to make a high jump, then 4 feet, then 5 feet, then 6 feet. The hurdle goes on increasing, just to so that you may come up first in the race. Similarly, in this, if there are things which are very difficult, very hard, time consuming, require a lot of effort, you should think that it is to increase one of your qualities, namely endurance, perseverance, tolerance. You want to become more strong in this. So, aren't we here to increase our qualities? And this is, you are finding a chance to upgrade yourself in this quality. So it's a good opportunity, good chance. Why to give up the effort? All those people are admired. Somebody, Lord Hillary, for example, went on Mount Everest, at the top of Mount Everest. That he did a very uphill task. Any person who attains some great thing is given the credit for it. This person did such an important thing. So should we think that we are born that way. Baba wants us to attain high goals, and therefore are these obstacles, not to run away from them. Or maybe sometimes to break my ego. Sometimes I may have become very proud of myself, very egoistic, that I attain very great things which others can't attain. Maybe I am becoming proud of myself, not giving credit to Baba who has been helping me, that I am just an instrument and it is he who is doing. I begin to think that it is me who I am doing. And then it has therefore ego which has taken place. And now in order to break my ego, perhaps it is happening that I don't attain success, so that I may have more humility. I was not learning it the better way. Maybe that I get these kicks, therefore I get this lesson. Some people learn it the hard way. They lose and then only they learn. Others learn from others, examples. So Baba has been telling us that we must have humility. We must be humble. And I did not listen to Baba. I am not having humility. And over a period of time, attaining success after success, I now become very haughty. I become very proud of myself. And here, therefore, is the failure. Let this failure be a lesson to me. It is not me who was doing everything. It was Baba who was working. Let me be humble. So even then I would be gaining something if I have that kind of spirit. If humility comes to me from my failure. Or it may be my karmic account. Even if I was having humility, even if I thought it is Baba who is doing, even if I was observing all the moral norms, and still it is a failure, visibly a failure. Baba says sometimes it looks like failure, but later on you find it gets the result. But even if now it is visibly a failure, maybe it is my past karmic account. And therefore, if I am settling my karmic accounts, this in itself should make me happy, rather than I should lose my enthusiasm. It's not a cause for losing enthusiasm, but feeling that I am clearing myself of my past accounts. Good thing. So, I should not complain. Baba says, do not complain. Children become complete. Alright, even if I have failure, I should try to see why was this failure? Where was I incomplete? I should try to complete myself rather than complain. Oh, I am an unlucky fellow. Every time I meet, I am unsuccessful. Instead of complaining, my stars, that I am under the influence of a bad star, fallen on evil days, I may say. Like Baba was saying, Grahachari, Dadi was saying. So instead of blaming my stars, I should try to see what is lacking in me, so that I have to attain perfection. These failures can be a stepping stone to success, as they say, if they give us a chance to look inside and try to find out where lies the weakness, so that I fill up that weakness and become more strong. And next time I attain success, instead of giving up the effort. Or Baba says, your yoga is weak. If you are really a good yogi, then you will attain success. So you must increase your yoga power rather than give up yoga. That is the wrong way of doing. You have to throw the dirty water, not the baby. You see, you are throwing the baby, and the dirty water is still there. So we must increase the yoga power. Or we must wait and see, as they say, wait and see. Why you lose your, patience? Have patience. Wait and see. Baba says this knowledge is imperishable knowledge. Nothing goes waste in this world. Whatever you did, it will bear fruit. Action has a reaction. It may take some time. All actions do not take the same time to fructify or to flower up. So every action takes a bit different time as compared to other actions. Why you lose your patience? Wait and see. It will come. Or you may think it is a test. And you must work for the best. It is a test. Take it as a test and come out successfully from that test rather than lose your spirit. Now there may be another reason. I have given you some 2 or 3. Another reason why a person loses enthusiasm. There may be the inferiority complex or lack of self-confidence. If I don't attain success, if people don't give me any role to play, maybe the reason is that I myself have no confidence in me. They ask me to do a thing, I say no, I can't do this thing. Another person can do it better. Please give me up. This time I won't do. So on and so forth. Sometimes the reason is that we ourselves have no confidence in ourselves. So lack of self-confidence or the inferiority complex may be what gives me lack of enthusiasm. Those who feel confident, those who think they can do something, they seek such opportunities, they make use of them, avail them. And if that is the case, if the reason for lack of enthusiasm is the lack of confidence, self-confidence, or the inferiority complex, then Baba has given us many hints, many guidelines how we can improve. Baba has said, I am with you. All right. If you don't have a quality which is required for attaining success, if you don't have that strength so that you become successful, I am with you. I am Almighty. Why don't you invoke Baba's help? Why do you forget Baba is with you? Baba says, keep me as your companion. Don't miss my company. If you are in my company, Haath and Saath, Baba says. If you think Baba is with you and Baba is helping you, why you lose the spirit? Why you may have no confidence in yourself. But if you have confidence in Baba, that Baba promised, I will help you, child, I am with you. His promise cannot be wrong. He certainly fulfills his promise. He is the only person who always fulfills the words he gives you. And if you take faith, repose your faith in him, then why you lose confidence in yourself? All right, I am nothing. But Baba says, have that humility. You, even though you are a zero, you can become hero. I give you all the power. I help you. I am Almighty. If you have faith, try. You will never cry. Just see. Have full faith in Baba whether you attain success or not. You will certainly do. So always think Baba is with you. Then Baba says, you must always think you are Master Almighty. You are my child. You have taken the spiritual birth. You are now a child of Lord Almighty. Not only you have been saying when you were a worshipper, a mere bhakta, God is Almighty. You never said to yourself, being a child of God, I am Master Almighty. But now that Baba has given you this knowledge, you are my child, not my bhakta. You are a Jnani soul. So you must say to yourself, I am Master Almighty. Baba said, you are Master Almighty. So have that faith. They say faith can move mountains. If you have faith, you can move mountains, even the Himalayas. And then Baba said, you must think that you are an instrument. All right. You have no confidence in yourself. You think you don't have this ability. Okay. But Baba has all the abilities. You are only an instrument. And if there is a perfect master, even if the instrument is not very good, the mastery of the person enables that person to do that work, even with a very crude, very improvised sort of instrument. A person can do much. That is the craftsmanship of a great master. So if you think Baba is doing and I am just an instrument, have that spirit. Baba, I am nothing. I am not competent. I don't have that ability. But Baba, say what is to be done. I am your instrument. You just do it through me. It will happen. You just become instrument. But when you think I am to do, I am the doer, and I am not competent, then only you lose the confidence. If on the other hand you think Baba is the doer and I am only an instrument, then where does the question of losing the self-confidence arise? Because you are not supposed to have confidence only in yourself. You have to supplement that confidence with confidence in Baba. Zero may be nothing. But when you put 1 and then you put 0, it becomes 10. When you put 1 and then 0, it becomes 110. So on. Its power is increased. Similarly, you may be having no ability, but that when one Baba is with you, then your power increases 10 times, 100 times, 1000 times, and so on. So have that kind of faith. Think that you are a mere trustee, a mere instrument, and Baba has to work. Then that inferiority complex and lack of confidence will go away. Now another thing why a person loses enthusiasm, another factor is something becomes boring. You come to class daily, you don't find anything new. After some period of time, after a number of years, you say, I lack interest, lack enthusiasm. It is because everything is boring. That is what some people say. You make one kind of effort, you go on doing it for a number of years, you are not getting something new in it, not feeling that you are being amply rewarded in your spiritual effort, but that by practicing yoga, you are getting more and more bliss, more and more love of Baba. Your stage of yoga is increasing, higher and higher, going higher and higher. When you don't feel that kind of thing, then you think it is boring. And when it becomes boring, you lose enthusiasm. That becomes one of the reasons. Now, if that is the case, then what to do in that case? Not, I would say, not that this is boring, but you are not boring down, I would say. You know, bore also means to make a hole into something. You know, if you go deeper, you are not going deeper. You practice meditation, you don't, Baba says, yog ke saath prayog. You make experiment, you know. You are not making experiments, you are not improving your efforts of yoga, you are doing the same thing. So it is boring. If you bore deeper, you dive deeper, go deeper. The deeper you go, the cooler it becomes, they say, the sweeter water you get. So if you go make research, you go deeper into it, you bore deeper into it, then it would no longer be boring. If I listen to the same point in Murli, it may become boring. But the reason is that I am not contemplating, I am not reflecting on that point, not churning it, not going deeper into the meaning of what Baba means to say, not going deeper into its implications, not putting more and more into practice. Therefore it has become boring, otherwise it can't become boring. You will every time, people read the same Gita thousands of times, and they say every time they read, they find a new meaning. They find something refreshing. It is because they have a contemplative mind. They have a reflective nature. They try to churn. They want to go deeper. They bore deeper, therefore it does not become boring. So when you say it is becoming boring, I think you are not boring deeper. Bore deeper and it will not become boring. Some people say it no more creates interest in me. I think your creativity has stopped. Not that it is not creating interest. The thing is not to create interest. You have to create interest. Your creative efforts have stopped. Instead of saying that it is not creating interest. My own creativity might have stopped. So let me be more creative. If I have stopped at something, if there is stagnance in my efforts, I can't blame others and say that they are not creating any interest. Now, sometimes it so happens that people say, I want to work, I want to do service, I want to make more efforts, I want to be a better student, want to put in more efforts in my yoga, so on. But the prevailing conditions are not proper. At the center, in my town, or at my place of work, or in my home, the conditions, they say, are not congenial. The circumstances are not helpful. The environment is not right type of environment. So they blame the environment, the prevailing conditions. They say this is not helpful. Therefore, I have lost the enthusiasm. I want to do service, but somebody is not giving me the funds, not giving me the hands, not giving me the proper place where I can sit, place a chair and a table, or a computer or something which I require. Somebody is not giving me, and I say I want to work. I have a talent, I have an ability, and I have a scheme, I have a plan, I can. But there are no proper conditions. That's what I say. And therefore, I have lost interest. And after that, I have lost my enthusiasm. So therefore is the lack of enthusiasm. Now, if that is the case, what should I do? Baba says you are master creators. If there are no proper conditions, why should somebody else create the conditions for you? You create the conditions, you see. That is the work of a person who wants to do something. There are persons who have worked under the worst conditions, and therefore the world has, you see, therefore they won the laurels. They are now, their name is mentioned in history, because under the worst conditions they did the best, they attained the best, the highest. So instead of saying that there are no proper conditions, well, you create the proper conditions. One day I remember I told Baba I require a hand to help me. Baba said, then I have to create a hand for you. I did not know that I am to supply you with hands. Why don't you create your hand? You see, you have to create. Baba did not ask anybody to create. Baba himself created. You are a master creator, so you also create. You see. So if there are no proper conditions, then who has prevented you from creating proper conditions? Go ahead. All the best. Do it. We are with you. Create proper conditions. We will also participate. Give a seat also to work. So a master craftsman is one who with the worst of tools is able to attain the highest, the best. If you really know how to create, even if you don't have the proper instruments, the proper hands, the proper work conditions, in those conditions, if you can do something very worthy, something worthwhile, then is your talent being praised. So therefore, you have to create the conditions. Baba says, you have not generally to ask for sadhan. You are a sadhak. You have to do sadhana. Become a tapasvi, be a yogi, first and foremost. And you will find that your environment, your conditions become helpful to you. Everything will work, provided first of all, you are a good yogi. But when you lose yoga and you begin to grumble and murmur and whisper, complain, you no longer are a yogi. And when you lose your yoga power, you don't have the proper conditions. And you will find very often when there are no proper conditions, if in the worst conditions you do the best thing, then you find you feel all the more pleasure, more happiness. You must have heard so many people mentioning that they had no typewriter, they had no table, no chair, not even proper stationery, no person to help them, and that they did everything for themselves, api pooj, api pujari, that they were working everything for themselves. And when they mention all those conditions, you will find that their face reflects more happiness. They feel inward content, happiness, that they achieved something when there was nothing. Out of all those frustrating conditions, they were able to do something good. So that kind of work gives you more happiness, heightened happiness, when there are the worst conditions. If there are no conditions, they should not be discouraging factor in your life. On the other hand, you should accept them as a challenge and then with your enthusiasm do it. Then some people lose enthusiasm because they think their relationship with others are not happy. Others are standing in their way, obstructing their efforts, putting hurdles in their way. That they want to do something, want to attain something, but others are jealous. They are their rivals. They stand in their way. They do not cooperate, or whatever else may be the factor. Which we say that they feel that their relationships are not happy relationships. If that is the case, then let us try to improve relationships rather than give up the work, give up the service, give up the spiritual effort. Because what the world is suffering from, we find one of the major factors is that there are no happy relations, interpersonal relations, international relations, intercommunal relations, interreligious relations, interracial relations. What has become worse is the relationships. And we as yogis are supposed to improve relationships. If the relationships are good, it is perhaps that we are not vibrating at the proper level. We are functioning something, maybe that our response to others is not that much. People don't cooperate with us, maybe that we also don't cooperate with them. They are not loving to us, perhaps because we are also dry, we are also not loving to them. So there is a reason for us to improve, that we should try to improve relationships. Instead of saying that we don't have proper relationships, no one is cooperating, no one is helping. We require a team effort. You should try to lead them, inspire them, give them company, have their company. And if that can't be done for certain reasons beyond your control, which is not that you can do something, it is because of others maybe, then you should think you have all relationship with Baba. Baba says, I am your mother, father, what not. All relationship with Baba. So feel, if you have that kind of relationship, maybe that your frustration with the others because of relationships is taking your mind on to Baba, to have all your relationship with him. This would help you perhaps. It's a turning point in your life. Take it that way. All right. If you are not helping me, Baba would help me. People also say like that. So if you think Baba is with me, and certainly things would improve in course of time if I just try to be on proper lines, then there is no cause for frustration. You know what, in the Bhagavad Gita, they show a picture in the beginning. They say, they show that there is a chariot. Arjuna is there on the chariot. And he has dropped on earth his bow and sheaf of arrows and has given up the will to fight. And there is shown Krishna by his side, asking him, why you show this kind of mood? Why you are frustrated? Why you give up this effort? Arjuna, rise and fight. This is what is shown in the beginning of the Gita. And then there is the whole discourse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Baba mentioned this morning also in Murli, Bhagavad Gita, Sachi Gita. And it is a discourse on yoga. And what Arjuna was doing was opposite to what a yogi is expected to do. Because the arrows show that some target has to be hit. There is a goal, there is a target which has to be shot at. It is just a symbol of the effort, a pinpointed effort. When a person shoots an arrow, his eye is set on a focus. Similarly, in yoga, we have a focus. Our mind has to be completely focused on a particular target. We have to have full-fledged attention on Shiv Baba. Our thoughts are like arrows. And our brain is like the bow. And we are also to make that kind of effort. As Arjuna was frustrated with his cousins, with his whole family members, and giving up the effort, saying, no, I don't want to do. Sometimes feeling attachment towards them, and sometimes having another kind of negative mood because of that relationship. So he had given up that effort. And that is from where the yoga begins, starts. This is a negative state of mind, to think that others are not helping us, others are not cooperating with us. We can achieve great things provided this condition, that condition, or the other condition is fulfilled. Baba says, get up and fight. All these adversities, all these odds which are confronting you, you are single-handed, but God is with you. Don't lose your heart. I am with you. Make the sincere effort. So it's no reason to leave the enthusiasm. On the other hand, the very first day when a person begins to leave to listen to Murli, Baba says almost in every Murli, children, obstacles will come. Baba never tells us obstacles would not come. On the other hand, Baba says, the more you advance in your practice of Raj Yoga, the greater will be the number of efforts, of obstacles. More hurdles on your way. And that is why you have to become a Maharathi. Because we are trying to conquer, to win these obstacles, to cross these obstacles, and to pass with honor all these tests. Tests would be there. Rather than to think that there should be no tests. On the other hand, we should welcome tests, because they tests tell us what we have scored, what we have gained, and where we are weak, so that we have to learn more. They are very essential. They are a natural thing, they would come. Sometimes it so happens that a person feels jealous of others, thinks that the other is being praised, other is being given more love, more attention, and out of jealousy, one loses the interest in the family, in the center, in the teachings which Baba is giving, in the spiritual efforts which Baba is asking us to make. And that jealousy becomes the cause of one's spiritual death, one's loss of enthusiasm. So we should identify what is the real cause. Instead of saying that we are being neglected or not properly looked after and so on, we should see if it is not jealousy which is working at our mind. If that is so, then we should clear our mind of it, this negative force. And then, as I said earlier, if there are obstacles in our way, which are the reason why we lose our enthusiasm or why there is lack of enthusiasm, then Baba has said, if there are very big obstacles in your way, if you try to break those obstacles, suppose there is a big roadblock, a hillock, a piece of hill, just which is blocking your way. If you start breaking it with hammer and sledge, then it would take years, maybe lives. You won't be able to cross your way. So Baba has said, you know how to fly over the obstacles. By becoming angels, you would be able to cross some of your obstacles. If you just try to clear your way by other means, then your efforts will be of no avail. So sometimes it so happens that the way we want to attain success or the way we want to remove our obstacles is not the proper way. There are certain obstacles which we can remove. Suppose I am going now on this way, and there is some kind of a desk on the way, some small table on the way, some small tripod on the way, and it is blocking my way. I can remove. This kind of obstacle can be removed. It is not necessary to jump over this, you see, to try my jumping which I learned during my school days, whether I can still do at this big age or no. It's no use. I may break my bone. What is the use? I can remove the tripod and just clear my way. So there are certain obstacles for which I have to adopt this method. There are others where I have to use my hammer for breaking. There may be a kind of a roadblock, a small roadblock somewhere, and the army has to make the path for the following army, for the other soldiers. Maybe that their engineers or their task force goes ahead and they apply dynamite or some other thing and they break the rock so that the way is cleared. That's one of the ways. But if there is a small hill, we have the aeroplanes or what you say, helicopter or other means. So we can fly over. There are various ways of using which we can use to get rid of our obstacles. If we apply the wrong way, if our army has to guard our national frontiers, and if there is a roadblock put by the enemy, and if instead of using the air force at that time, I use the army and ask them to break it, in the meantime, because of the loss of time, because of the maneuvering of the opposite forces, I lose more ground. It's no use. So Baba says the first thing is that you should know how to fly. You are a flying bird. Become an angel. So no obstacle will stand in your way. That is the first thing. And it is enthusiasm which makes you fly. Without enthusiasm, you can't fly. Because then you have the greatest force which pulls you towards the ground rather than you can fly. So the first thing is to fly and just to get rid of your obstacles. And if that is not necessary, if there is a small thing and you just have to jump and cross it, rather than ring up somebody, please send the helicopter, I have to get rid of an obstacle which is 5 feet high. To get rid of an obstacle which is 4.5 feet high, if I require a helicopter which may take 2 days to come, and I am sitting without food and water there, to cross that hurdle, it is foolish on my part. I either go mount over that. If I know a little bit of mountaineering, I could just cross that obstacle, just get over it and across it. Or I can make the high jump if my legs are not so weak. I can cross it. I should first of all know, otherwise I land in a hospital rather than cross it. I have to see what tactic, what strategy I have to use at a particular moment. Otherwise, if there is a speed breaker, and in order to cross a speed breaker, I call a crane to take my car across the speed breaker. I have to slow down my car and gradually and slowly I have to cross a speed breaker. Otherwise, if I just rush at the speed breaker, it will become a head breaker rather than a speed breaker. So I have to apply my judgment and to use at what place I have to do that sort of thing. So Baba has also given us knowledge, what tactic to apply at what point of time and what situation to get rid of those obstacles. Instead of, there are obstacles, how can I do this? Very often we feel frightened. Baba says it is not the real tiger but the paper tiger, and you are afraid of the paper tiger. From this distance it appears like a tiger, real tiger, but it is really not a real tiger. It's a paper tiger, So it happens. There is a plant and there is some green growth over there, and in that semi-darkness, semi-light, I feel there is somebody with a dagger waiting for me. I just am afraid of this. Actually, it's nothing. So sometimes our imagination makes our obstacles great and makes our strength less, which is actually the reverse thing should happen. And Baba says, children, you have not to become sannyasi and udasi. Sannyasi and udasi. If you give up your efforts, you are like a sannyasi who has given up the world. Just put on the sovereign clothes and thinks that he has to do nothing. Hand on hand, I depend upon my fate. The 2 chapatis which people give me to eat is enough for me. I don't want to become the world sovereign. I don't want to become a double-crowned king or queen. I just want to have a coupon in my hand, wear a lion cloth, go into the forest retreat, and have the fresh fruit from the trees and take the water from the riverside. This is the defeatist mentality. This is not the Raj Yogi mentality. The Raj Yogi mentality is you have to attain great things. You have to do a lot. You have to transform the whole world. Baba says the message has not reached even a small fraction of the people. It has to go to all the people. All are my children. And Baba, when we saw him in the Sakar form, we very often, when we went to his room, even during the night time, if there was an urgent message to be given to him, and we would go into his room like a wet cat so that we don't make any noise. He does not wake up if he's in sleep. He was awake. And he would say, I did not sleep. Why? Because the message has to go to all the children. And the father has come. And if the father gives invitation to some and not to the others, the other children will say, Father, you came and you gave this guidance, you give valuable knowledge to others. Why were we deprived of this right? They have the real reason to complain. And Baba says, just as somebody gave you this knowledge, now you have to give it to others, and others have still to give it to others. And the time left is very short. And this effort has to be done within that limitation of time. So therefore, it's not that you just make a small hut or your place of habitation in a small cave and be satisfied with it. No, you are like messengers, like ambassadors of God. Like they say, an ambassador who has to go to all the lands and to give this message of God to all the people. So there is no time to slacken our efforts. And for this, naturally, we have to have enthusiasm. And in order that we may have happiness and enthusiasm all the time, constantly, homogeneously, with stability, as I said early at the start, Baba has given us so many points. Baba says, children, you are Adhar Murt and Uddhar Murt. One of the points Baba has been very often mentioning. You are the foundation, because on you will be laid the foundation of the new world. You are the pillars of the new world. If you are weak, how can that new beautiful world, namely paradise or heaven, be built? Because the heaven has to be built on you as the foundations. So you are those kind of children. Though all the humankind are my children, but you are my very special children. Why? Because you are like the foundation stones, are like the pillars of that new world. If the pillars are shaky, how can such a beautiful world be built on it? Therefore, if you think that we are the pillars, then you get the strength. Have that kind of feeling. And if there is any obstacle, if there is any worry, if there is any problem, if there is something negative which stands in your way, Baba gives us assurance. Baba says, leave that to me. Leave that to me. Feel free. Become free from all the worries. Beparwah Badshah, Begumpur ke Badshah. A king without worry you become. And leave everything to me. I take care of it. You only become holy and yogi. That's all. I don't ask you to give me anything else, but only that thing which is causing you injury, causing you harm, causing you sorrow, causing you pain. That rubbish, sex, lust, anger, greed, attachment, these negative things. I am not asking you for any precious gift to me. But whatever is there with you, which is causing peacelessness in your mind, giving you sleepless nights, causing you tension and unhappiness, give only that to me. That is what I am asking for. If you give that to me and give up all your worries and leave the rest to me, children, I am your father, I am your guide. I will help you. Don't worry. And how often, how many times he has said, you are my beloved children. I really love you. You are my lovely children, my sweet children. Times out of number. Do not those words resonate in our mind? My beloved children. Someone calling us, my beloved children, my sweet children. Now, is it not a privilege that God loves us?